good evening to each and every one of you wonderful people to the 30th episode of Weird Mind News, where this episode was handcrafted and spoken in a soft-toned voice, talking all the new releases, the trailers, and the news stories from the last week of what to check out and become interested in from the recent week of media content. So without further any more waiting around, let's just get right to it.
Those chickens are up to summit.
So we start off the new releases with a sequel that is 20 years in the making. As after a long time making in all painstaking detail modeled by hand, we've gotten a long-awaited sequel to Chicken Run with Dawn of the Nugget. In this new film, we'll see the chickens of Tweedy's farm living peacefully and happily on the simple island sanctuary after escaping from the clutches of Mr. and Mrs. Tweedy, with a new chick named Molly, Ginger, and Rocky have had their happily ever after. But when Molly goes over the mainland and gets her taken to a new high-tech farm that threatens all of chicken kind, they will need to break in and stop this new threat to their kind and save everyone from being turned into nuggets. Now, reception on this film has been very decently received, with its charm and appeal of the original, with some critiques going towards a little bit of the generic story feel. Now, I myself watched it there yesterday morning when it released, and I really enjoyed it. I will probably do a review for it in the next couple of days, but if you want to check it out for the newest Poultry in motion,
oh brother, this guy stinks!
You could check it out now on Netflix. But if you're looking for something on a more Titan scale, then for the new release, that might appeal to you more. We are returning to the studio of Toho as they bring in their famous giant kaiju back again to the big screen where he belongs in the all-new film of Godzilla -1. This new film will follow a disgraced kamikaze pilot returning back to his home in a post-war Japan and soon survive with his new family when the kaiju appears and causes fear and destruction across the land. Now, reception of this film has been majorly positive for its concept, its visuals, its story, being one of the best Godzilla films in recent memory. I want to see him cause mayhem and destruction in the biggest screen possible. And he can do so now as he's available in cinemas now. And now for a return to a man who takes the law into his own hands, as we are back with an all-new second season for Amazon Prime's Reacher. This new season will be based on the 11th book in the long-running Tom Clancy Jack Reacher book series, and we'll see him in his huge muscular stature continuing to try and clear his name for a murder he did not commit and bring justice in any means necessary. Now, reception for the series, like the first season, has also been very strongly received and continues the popular series. And if you want to check out how this story continues, you can find it all now as you can catch it up on Amazon Prime. And to wrap up the new releases for this week, we have the final part of the final season to the long-running series of Netflix's The Crown, with these last 6 episodes tackling some of the more major aspects such as the marriage of Charles and Camilla, the new Prime Minister of Tony Blair, the scandal of Harry in a certain uniform, and the relationship between William and Kate, which will cover mainly most of the early 2000s era of the Monarch. Now, the reception of these last few episodes, like the first part, were a little mixed, with some feeling a little underwhelming of a finale and a bit over dramatized for this situation. I'm sure I think they could add one more season to it and cover the 2010s up to the end of Queen Elizabeth's reign, but I guess will not be the case. But if you want to see how the series wraps up, then you can check out the final 6 episodes out now on Netflix. And with that, that's all the new releases that we have for this week. So I'd say the best instance to summarize the trailers this week is that's basically that. So starting off this week with trailers, we got an all-new trailer for a huge epic with the release of the 3rd trailer for the upcoming 2nd part to The Legend of Paul Atreides with Dune Part 2. Now, this will follow on from the end of Part 1 with Paul and his mother, Lady Jessica, coming across Shawnee and the Freeman, and who will reunite to seek revenge against a common enemy who destroyed his family, and facing a choice between love, fate, and universe, as he must prevent a terrible future for one he can foresee. Now, I remember watching the original when it came out on IMAX and thought that the film was pretty decent, but visually fucking stunning. And hopefully this will be even more action-packed and on the level of visual brilliance that this director of Denis Villeneuve is known for. And I'm sure we can find out when this film releases in March of next year. And now it's time for a return dosage of awesomeness. For a series that initially had a name for its original that people thought would fail, but turned into one of the all-time best from the studio, as everyone's favorite dragon warrior of Panda of Poe is back as we got the first trailer for the 4th entry in the Kung Fu Panda series. Now, his new film, Po has been tasked to find the next dragon warrior as he ascends to become the new spiritual leader of the valley. But when a new threat of the chameleon brings a new power of bringing back old foes like Tai Lung, he must gather a new army of fighters to stop her reign and save the lands once more. Now, I love the trilogy, and I think this film will be another surefire hit for the series. Visually, just off the trailer, it looked fucking great. The only question I have from watching the trailer is the Furious 5 in this? Because he doesn't show up in the trailer, surprisingly, which I'm getting a bit concerned of. Like, we have his 2 dads, so who knows. But I'll be checking this film out when this film releases just before my birthday on March 8th of next year. Now you gotta play that jazzy theme song, as Beverly Hills' top officer is back once again on the streets after the last entry being nearly 30 years ago, and are back with the 4th entry in Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. In this, we'll see Axel being brought back into the force when his estranged daughter and her boyfriend's lives are threatened, and with the help of a new partner, will delve into solving a conspiracy in the BHPD. Now, it has been a while since I watched the classic trailer, and I think this looks pretty good so far, and hopefully it turns out a good watch. And you can find out when this film releases on Netflix sometime next summer. Now, we have all at one point, when we were much younger, had that friend that only we can see. But what happens when we grow up and forget them? Well, that is what director and actor John Krasinski is bringing up as he has released a trailer for his new film of If. Now, this will see the character of B, a young girl who has the ability to see the imaginary friends of those that were left behind by their kids who grew up and became adults. And with the help of the man upstairs, played by Ryan Reynolds, he will find a way to help all those who were abandoned and find a new home and a new friend to become the imaginary partner they need. Now, I like the concept and designs of the imaginary friends. Really seems interesting, and I don't know what it is. I think people that really know something in it as well. It has a vibe of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Does anyone remember that series? It's really old series from the early 2000s. But sort of vibe I can get behind, and I'm sure I'll be interested to see how it all plays out when this film drops on May 17th of next year. And to wrap up the trailers for this week, let me take you back about 4 or 5 years ago when a YouTube animator known as Fizzy Pop dropped a pilot for a new series she created that focused on second chances. It was all set in the underworld of the depths of hell. Now to this week, where we have gotten the first full-length trailer for the official first season of Has-Been Hotel. Now this will follow Charlie Morningstar, the princess of hell herself, who creates an establishment hotel for demons to be rehabilitated so they could have a chance to go to heaven. And with the help of some ragtag group of demons and some hijinks ensuing, it may all well work out or end up burning in flames. Now I think the concept is unique, and I do enjoy Fizzy Pop's content, and if you want to check in yourself, you can find the pilot episode as well as her other series of Hell of a Boss, it's a great watch by the way, on YouTube, and you can check out the full season when this releases on January 19th on Amazon Prime. And with that, that's all the trailers that we have for this week.
I want to play a game.
So we start this week of news with a lovely announcement of another release of some awards and nominees, as was announced on Monday of all the nominees for this year's Golden Globes were revealed, as if it gives some possible idea of what might be the big nominations for the Oscars in March. Now I will not delve too heavily into the awards in each category, as I will probably do so in a separate piece this nearer to the time if I'm interested in doing it or if I have the time to do it. But I will give it a little rundown of what the biggest ones for TV and film are. So, on the film side of things, the film's biggest nomination is looking very pink, as the Barbie movie takes in the most nominations with 9. Its runner-up is coming into us with Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer with 8 nominations, and followed closely behind with Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon and Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things with 7 nominations. Bigger films have also received some nominations, including Like Anatomy of a Fall, Zone of Interest, Saltburn, and even some more known big moneymakers such as John Wick Chapter 4, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and many more. But as for the TV side of things, the 3 big frontrunners come in the form of Succession taking the top spot with 9 nominations, FX's The Bear taking 6, and Hulu's comedy series of Only Murders in the Building rounding out the top 3 with 5 nominations. The biggest surprise to me was the minimal amount of nominations for The Last of Us, as it only came in with 3 nominations, one each for actor Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey, and for Best Drama Series. Now, it was all well and good. I may have to try and have a full breakdown piece of this by the time the event goes live on January 7th, but I will see when it gets close to the date and if I have the time to do so if I'm not busy with other projects, but I'll see if I can predict some winners for each category. But what are your thoughts on all the nominations, and were you surprised by some of the nominations or snubs of some of the others? You can find the list down below in the description, but let me know what you think of all the winners and some of your predictions down below in the comments, and I will read some in the future video if I do it. So the next story is to do with some announcements and some release dates which come from 2 horror films from this year getting some sequels, 2 popular series getting a release date announcement for a new season, and one of the most renowned developers making an announcement of a project based on one of his games. And I also mentioned one piece of disappointing news for another project, and I'll give them all in a quick rundown here. So starting with the horror films. In the last 3 months we have received the release of 2 horror films that have garnered some pretty strong reception and positive reviews and some decent box office. Well, now it's not the end of them, as has been confirmed that within the next 2 years we are getting a next new sequel in the Saw franchise and a sequel to Eli Roth's holiday slasher of Thanksgiving, with Saw 11 releasing in September 2024 and Thanksgiving 2 releasing in 2025. Now hopefully these creatives and teams can learn what worked from their projects that made them successful, improve on the stuff that didn't, and make it that their follow-ups are on the same level of appeal but don't overdo it as well, kind of thing. This is my focus. As for this series, it's been confirmed that Netflix has given the official release date for a 3rd series of their popular period drama series of Bridgerton, and that's similar to some of the most recent series like Stranger Things, The Witcher, and The Crown. It's been split into 2 parts, with the first part releasing on May 16, 2024, and the second is dropping on June 13th of the same year. In most cases, whether it be half, 6 and 4 into, or how many episodes are in this series, but for those that have been wanting to find out what happens next, then you'll not to wait too much longer to find out. And as for the other series, the inhabitants of heaven and hell of everyone's favourite odd couple rejoice, as Azrael and Crowley are confirmed to be coming back for a 3rd and final season of Good Omens for Amazon Prime. Now it's unclear of when we will get the new season, given the gap of release between season 1 and 2 was about 4 years, but I'm sure we will get a release probably maybe late 2024 or 2025 at the latest. But once I hear any word, I'll provide an update of that for you and when you can expect for its release. Amazon Prime. The last of the positive announcements is coming to us in the form of a new video game adaptation, and this will be in the form of the game of Death Stranding. Now this new film will follow the concept of the original game and maybe some elements of the upcoming sequel, which is set in the post-apocalyptic US after a cataclysmic event caused strange creatures to roam the earth, and follow courier Sam Bridges of delivering supplies to isolated colonies and reconnecting and bridging them together with some wireless communication network. Now this will have the game's creator Hideo Kojima on board, and this game will also be developed by A24, which could bring some unique artistic element and a sense of a whole ordeal and, structure to the whole thing. No word on when we'll be releasing, but I'm sure we'll get it within the next few years. I'm saying by 2026, most likely. Who knows? And lastly, on the more disappointing news. Initially planned as an add-on for the release of The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020, the long-awaited online factions mode has been announced to have been scrapped. The reason for doing so mainly came down to them not wanting to be bogged down by the concept of running a live service game, and much rather focus on their award-winning single-player narrative experience. Now I understand the approach that they were going to be doing so, but I mean, they could have still made it similar to the upcoming Ghost of Iron Mode, the remastered version coming in January, just kept up as a server instead of focusing all its attention on it, but I'm sure we'll make some form of return in the near future, maybe in the next game or something. Let's see how it all plays out by then. What are your thoughts from all these announcements and disappointments? Are you excited for any of them in particular, or are you disappointed by the factions announcement? Let me know what you think down below, and let's discuss them all as well, what we can predict, what we can expect. And now for a bit of news talk on the upcoming superhero fair, and we are of course talking in Marvel superheroes, but not in the vein of the live action MCU movies this time, but more in the case of the animated side of things. As while the other side of things is getting restructured for the next year and beyond, we do have some updates for the animated side, with 3 shows coming to us very soon. 2 we've already aware of, and another that was just announced this week. On the 2 that was announced, we've been given confirmation that the 90s X-Men series, of continuation of X-Men 97, and the now retitled freshman year of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man have both been confirmed to releasing in the first half or so of 2024 on Disney+. Both of them have technically been made canon. Well, the Spider-Man one initially will be more focused on the one from the MCU, and the X-Men will finally continue the story originally established in the 90s series, but I'm sure we'll find out whatever these 2 series will get a proper state. I'm thinking these one be Easter, one be like early summer, we'll have to say. And as for the newest edition, it was announced that we are getting an all-new animated series based on the land of Wakanda, with a series entitled The Eyes of Wakanda. Now, not much else is known, but I'm sure we will most likely see some of the cast of the 2 Black Panther films appear in some shape or form in this series, and build upon that community that we've gotten a few glimpses at in those 2 films. And the series is projected to be releasing in the summer or by the end of next year, but as soon as I hear any word on any of these series getting a release date, I will let you know in an update episode. But what are your thoughts on all these announcements, and are you excited for any of the anime projects on yourself? Let me know what you think of it all down below in the comments. But now for a bit of a more somber, sad news, as one that did affect me a bit earlier this week was a recent passing. Sadly, earlier this week, we lost a great icon in the actor of Andre Braugher. To some, he was known for his role as Frank Pembleton in the series of Homicide, Life on the Streets, and for roles in films and TV such as Glory, She Said, Salt, and Primal Fear. But to many, he was well known for his role as Captain Raymond Holt in the police comedy series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and many fans grew to love and know his character over the years, that series for his dry wit and humour. He passed away earlier this week after a short battle with lung cancer at the age of 61, and he will be remembered for many years to come, and may he rest in peace. Let's give it a little moment of silence. And now on a story that may have some serious repercussions, but earlier this week, a serious situation took place that saw the studio of Insomniac Games, the studio behind the Ratchet & Clank and recent Spider-Man games, was hacked. According to the group that did this, they have obtained some personal details about some of the staff, including passports and other information, as well as info on Yuri Lowenthal, the voice actor for Peter Parker in the Spider-Man game. Besides that, they've also obtained some content for their upcoming Wolverine game that was announced a few years ago, as well as some information about some unannounced project. I believe supposedly this being a possible game tying into the Spider-Verse movies, or the side quest in the newest one, I think, and has demanded they pay them $2 million worth in Bitcoin, which is about 500 in Bitcoin or something, within 7 days, or else they will suffer the consequences. Now, after this breach happened earlier in the week, not much else has been brought up since then, but the company of Sony is investigating into the matter and trying to help as many as they can affected, and maybe possibly seek some legal justice after this, but I'm sure we'll get any updates soon, and when I hear anything, I'll provide you info at a later time. Now, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? Do you see this being a continuous problem for the industry, or will it fade out very quickly sometime soon? Tell me your thoughts about this down below in the comments. And the final story that has been brought to my attention is concerning a game that I talked about in last week's new release calendar. Now, I mentioned the game that was known as The Day Before, a game made by an unknown studio that was the most wishlist game on Steam, had many delays for unknown reasons from copyright issues and other aspects, and then finally released to the masses at the end of last week. And people have played it, but now it's no more. After only 4 days of release, the studio behind it of Fantastic announced on Monday that they were shutting down due to running out of money for the game, and I'm honestly not surprised that it would, and there was many points it would, but I didn't think this soon. So it was announced it's shown these very detailed visuals and aesthetic, and people got invested and excited for the game. As many more trailers and gameplay got shown, the cracks started appearing, with some people seeing that they were taking elements and scenes from the games and reusing them, such as The Last of Us and Call of Duty. The visuals took a major downgrade, and everything went radio silent for months until it dropped last week, and everyone agreed in one instance that this was one big scam that cost you 40 quid. Now, it's brought more to effect when scathing reviews from many sources giving it really low scores, and even some big YouTubers even refunding the game because it was so bad and broken. People started looking into the company at their other selection of games in the process too. Knows how they've made their games, made big fanfare, and then drop it very quickly. And for doing all this has bit them in the ass. Now, could this game have a chance of being good? It's a long stretch, but probably at some point it could have been case. It's like a cake. You make a mess at the beginning, and it could turn out something nice in the end. Or nothing, I don't know. It could have been like a No Man's Sky situation, but I'm guessing now it isn't going to happen now from the whole outcome, and this zombie survival MMO will be lost to time. But what are your thoughts on all this, and have you played it yourself if you did? And is it that bad? I may make a video on this whole game as well, talking about the history of it, but I'll see that down the line. But let me know what you think of this game as well down below in the comments, and all your thoughts on the game if you played it. And with all of that, that's all the news that we have for this week. And with that now, that is all we have for this week's 30th episode of Weird Mind Newsroom. And I hope you enjoy listening to me ramble all about the concepts of all the media stuff that released this week. Now, a few updates of what to expect. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the new release calendar, I will probably definitely be giving a review for the movie of Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nut. Hopefully, maybe have it out in the next week or something, but I'll figure it out. Maybe at least by the end of this year, maybe make that one of my last reviews. I'm also going to try maybe at least get Indiana Jones and the Barbenheimer stuff done by the end of this year. Not sure if I have the videos out for them by then, but at least maybe even by the beginning of January I might have them out. But I need to get in contact for at least one with the Barbie one, so at least I'll get that concept, and that might be a little delayed. I'll work on it. Other bits. The rewatch-a-thon, I'm hoping to have it by the end of this year as well. I've just got one or two more just to finish up. I need to record the main section as well and write up some aspects of it as well. Just my notes and stuff is going from time-wise, it's just been very busy. Other bits, I'm going to try and get gaming sorted out next year. I'm going to talk about and do some concepts, make some skits. I'm going to make some concepts and ideas. So if you have any ideas you want me to make, I can try and make it into some form, or ideas of long-form videos. Let me know in the comments or even my socials. I will gladly try and make them as best I can. I'm hoping to try at least get to Wonka and Godzilla -1 to give those reviews as well, but I'll look into that in a moment. Besides that, it's basically all I can talk about right now at the moment. Yeah, I think I'm probably just going to leave it there. It's getting late and I'm a bit tired. I have to be up early tomorrow. So yeah, if you enjoyed my video and you want to see more from me and, just enjoy my content or listen to my soft-spoken voice, you can like and subscribe this video, of course. It's all happening. My goal for 50 subs is slowly getting there, but, I'll get there whenever I can. I appreciate every single one of you for subbing and just bearing with me. They may not be the best videos, but, I give my efforts with all of them. Love to hear all your thoughts below of, anything you've seen with new releases or your thoughts on all the trailers and news. I want to hear your thoughts down below and maybe even use some concepts of that in future videos. I'd love to hear all stuff. And yeah, that's basically what I'm going to leave for now. I'm getting a bit tired, so I'm going to go to bed. I hope you all stay being wonderful people, because you all are wonderful people, and have a great day every day. Do many great things, because you all deserve it. Anyways, that's what I'll leave for now, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. I'll take care.